Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to film a get ready with me video, and I have two goals in mind for today. Number one is I'm going to be using all drugstore products, and number two, I want to create kind of a bronzy, summery, glowy look with these products. And the reason for that is I know that many of you live in parts of the country and parts of the world that are still in the throes of cold winter weather, and several of you have told me you are California dreamin'. So I'm going to bring a little bit of California your way and at least make you feel, in the makeup sense, like you've been on a summer vacation. So let's get started. On my face, I already have this new sunscreen I've been testing out by CeraVe. It is the hydrating sunscreen, and it's SPF 30, and it's tinted. It's the sheer tint, and I have been enjoying this. I haven't tried it under too many foundations, so that's going to be the follow-up test to this. So that's what I have on my skin. As that continues to sink in, I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow primer. This is the CoverGirl Lid Lockup. I do enjoy this. It's a pretty decent eyeshadow primer. It's not my longest lasting one, but it does a really good job for an average day. Now, before going in with foundation, I am going to do a trick that you can do with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but I'm going to use the L'Oreal Visible Lift Luminous Serum Tint, and this is the shade Gold. It's number 803, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. And this is a very similar product to the Charlotte Tilbury. It is just a little bit, it provides a little bit of glow to the skin. You can use this under foundation or over it. I am just going to use this kind of on the high points of my face, where I typically like to highlight, and this is just going to add a little extra glow to the skin and make me look just a little bit more like I've been on vacation, or you've been to California. Now, the foundation I'm using today is not new to the drugstore, but it is brand new to me. I have never tried this. This is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Normal to Oily Foundation, and I picked up the shade 128 Warm Nude. And for whatever reason, I've never tried either of these Fit Me foundations. So I wanted to give this a try. I know a lot of you are like me and have more combination skins. So I've heard lots of great things about this foundation, but need to actually test it out for myself. So I poured out just a little bit on my little plastic palette here. And I'm gonna go in first with a beauty blender, or a beauty sponge. This is not technically a beauty blender. And let's just see how this goes on. I think that added just a little extra coverage. I think on the other side, I'm gonna go in with a brush. I'm gonna use the Luxe 532 round top blender. Just see what I think about the brush. This side. I really can't tell much of a difference up close. The brush side looks a little more airbrushed than the sponge side. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit here and then use the brush on my forehead. Okay, I'm going to let that sit on the skin. So far, I like the look of it. It's very weightless and does not look heavy on the skin. So I know some of you are thinking, I thought we were going for glowy, why are you doing matte and poreless? Well, as an oily combo girl, I like to just add the glow in the places where I want it. So if you are not a combination skin type, I think they have a dewy or formula, so go with something like that. All right, now let's go back to the eyes. I am using a new palette from Maybelline. I've actually used this several times and have formed an opinion. I think it's great. It's very good. I have not been a fan of Maybelline eyeshadows before, but I have to say all the ones that I've used so far in here have performed beautifully. So I'm gonna go in with the Sigma E50 and go in with this matte cream shade. It's called Artist. And I love that they actually added names this time. Most of their shadows before did not have names actually printed on the palette, so that's a nice little touch. I'm gonna put this just under the brow bone. And I think right under the arch of the brow, I'm gonna go in with this shade. It's just slightly lighter. Just gonna add a tiny little bit of some extra lift right there. Through the crease, I think I'm gonna start off with, let's go in with this one right here. It's called Creator. And these shadows are pretty soft and powdery, so you are gonna see some kick up in the pan. However, I feel like as long as you're just gentle and just roll your brush, don't dig around in there, I don't feel like it's overly troublesome to work with. Just putting that all through the crease here. And that one I layered about 3 times and got a decent amount of color going. Now I'm gonna go in with my Morphe M433 and I'm gonna use a little bit of this shade right here. It's called Explorer, and just build up a little bit in the outer part of the crease here. And then we'll go in with our deepest shade. As you can see, I have clean brushes. I did a bunch of brush cleaning yesterday. That is always such a good feeling to have that over with, if you know what I mean. But I always love when I have all of my clean brushes to choose from to use for makeup. Actually, that color built up very nicely all on its own, so I actually don't think we're gonna go in too much darker. So you can see they blend really well, build on themselves fairly quickly. So I've been impressed with this formula. For the lid shade, we're gonna start off with, let's go in with this one, Inspirer. I don't know why that's hard to say. And I'm going to use an E60 from Sigma. This is one shade I have not used yet. It's more of a gold color and a little more on the flaky side. Okay, I think it's best going in with finger here. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so you know me, I'm not a big fan of like super old gold colors. So what I like to do is then go over the top of it with something that has a little bit of pink in it, and it just kind of balances that out. So the combination of the two kind of makes this really pretty kind of soft golden champagne color. So just a little tip for you. All right, now I'm gonna go back to the E60 and I'm gonna go in with this bronze shade called Pioneer. It's such a pretty, pretty shade. And I'm just going to kind of use this as a transition to the outer corner, overlapping our lid shade there, that kind of gold shade. All right, and now that we have our shimmers on, I'm gonna go in with just a touch of a deeper shade. So I'm gonna use the M506 from Morphe, and let's go in with this kind of reddish brown shade. It's called Globetrotter. This is a real pretty shade. I'm using this one. You could use this one over here, also very nice. But I just want that, I want to keep a little bit of that warmth there to the look. Then going back with just a little more of Explorer on the M433. Just making sure that's all blended. Okay, I'm going to show you two eyeliners that are newer to me. You don't have to use both. I just want to show you both of them. So this is the Infallible Pro Last by L'Oreal in the shade Bronze. I'm going to use this on my lower lash line. And these are really nice. They do stay very well. And this one has just a tiny little bit of a shimmer finish to it, not glittery or anything. But I'm going to use that along the lower lash line here. And then I am going to just find the corner of my eye right there and make sure that's filled in. And then on my upper lash line, I'm going to use this new L'Oreal Age Perfect Satin Glide Eyeliner in the shade Brown. This is a twist up. It has a nice rubber grip right here so you can really get a good hold on it. We're just going to go on the outer half of the upper lash line. And while I do feel like this glides nicely, I have had troubles if you roll the pencil up too far, it will break off. So it's kind of soft, but almost too soft for its own good, if you know what I mean. But I do feel like these set and stay very well. So just take a little getting used to. All right, so we are gonna do this outer wedge here, and then before it sets right here in the outer corner, I'm just going to take a soft angled brush. This is one from Sedona Lace, and I'm just going to grab the edge of that liner and drag my brush up towards the brow. And you'll see it's just a very faint hint of a line. And so it's just giving a little hint of a lift, and also once you have mascara on, that makes it look like your outer lashes are a little bit longer there. And then I'm going to go to our palette, and I'm going to go in with this far brown shade called Self Starter and use that. Just go right over the top of that liner, just soften it and set it in place. And then you can use that if you want to thicken or deepen this little bit of a wing just slightly. Just very softly flick that out. I'm going to go back with the M506 and just lightly buff over the edge of that liner and the shadow. Just kind of keep it nice and soft there. Okay, I'm going to clean up under the eyes and then we'll add some concealer. For concealer, I'm going back to one that I used years ago, and it's the Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline, but this is the neutralizer shade. I've been testing out one in the concealer shade, what is it, Fair Light, I think it was, Warm Light, but I kind of want to test out the neutralizer one again. So okay, I think we finally have product. So I'm going to test this out here and just see. I used to be able to use this shade all on its own. Oh, and our lighting is changing here. Actually, that does look quite nice all on its own. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for now and just tap in the edge of that with my foundation brush. And that foundation has definitely dried down to a pretty matte finish. I don't think I'm gonna need a ton of powder, so that's a good thing. Okay, the lighting just keeps changing. I'm sorry, we have a few scattered clouds and I use a lot of natural daylight, and so when the sun goes behind a cloud, everything dramatically changes. I think it's coming back out. I'm just gonna add a little bit of chapstick. I forgot to do this. This is the Alba Botanica Hawaiian Lip Balm. Nothing makes you feel like vacation like putting on a pineapple scented lip balm. Smells so good. Okay, so I still have quite a bit. You can still see that glow that we put underneath the foundation. Just gentle glow coming through. So I think I'm going to go in now with powder, And I am going to use the Maybelline Fit Me powder just to see how it works with its fellow foundation, right? And brush wise, my powder brushes are not quite dry, my normal ones that I use. So I'm gonna use this one from Moda. This came in a BoxyLuxe. There goes our lighting. Oh well, we're just gonna go with it. All right, these brushes don't have any numbers on them, but these are so super soft. And I have the Fit Me powder in the shade Fair Light, but I've not found it to be overly pale. It really doesn't give much coverage, so I feel like the colors are pretty forgiving. And I'm gonna let that under eye just kind of sit. I'm not gonna powder that. I might add a little more concealer and tap in right here before we're done. So, all right, now we need some glow, okay? So I'm gonna go in with a little purposeful glow, and I'm using one of my favorite bronzers. This is the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. This is the shade Bronze, and they now have, I think, 5 or 6 shades. So this one is not too warm, not too cool. I can use this kind of all over my face, especially when I have kind of winter skin. So when I'm not too pale but not too dark, I feel like this just gives a beautiful glow and just a hint of color to the skin. And of course, that coconut scent, oh my goodness. Smells so good. And this is just one of the Alamar brushes that came in my BoxyCharm box last month. And I'm putting this kind of in the areas of contour, but I'm also bringing it up higher on the cheeks where I would also bronze, where the sun would kiss my face. California dreamin'. Such a winter's day. Even here in California, we have cloudy days. Although today, it's not overly cloudy. It's just that the clouds are being selective. They want to find the sunshine. I'm going to use this a little bit on the sides of the nose. And then I'm going to use this just on the outer part of the eye there. Then take a little bit of that down the neck. We don't want to end up with a nice bronzed face and a very white matte neck. So take your bronzer down your neck as well. I'm going to add just a tiny little bit more contour with the Profusion Highlight and Contour 1 palette. I'm going to use this shade, which is Tan Sculpt, on my F05 from Sigma. And then a tiny little bit of that down the sides of the nose. If you can hear my dog snoring. He's on the floor right beside me here, sleeping away. On his breathing as he's gotten older has become a little bit louder. Just go over it one more time with my bronzer brush. All right, so I feel like I'm starting to kind of look a little bit tan and glowy. And now for blush, I've been going back and forth between several. I have a couple of new ones, but they're not quite in the color scheme that I'm planning. I'm gonna go in with, this is the Milani blush in Sunset Passion, and this is one of the baked powder blushes. I'm gonna start off with this because I think this kind of can give me a little bit of that, like a little bit of a sunburned, kind of sun-washed cheek. So I'm just gonna use the same bronzer brush, and I'm going to tap this on the top part of the cheek. I am gonna bring this in further Usually I stop about here. I'm gonna bring this in just a little further. So again, it's gonna look like we've been out in the sun, even though I don't do that anymore. Wear lots of sunscreen, try to stay out of the sun. And then I am going to bring a little bit of this up here on the forehead. With a color like this, you can really make it look natural when you put blush outside of just on your cheek. So you can put a little bit of this across the nose and a little bit of it on the chin, because again, if you get sunburned, you want to think about where are the areas that you get sunburned, and those are usually your higher points of the face. All right, now for highlighter, I'm going to use the Milani Afterglow Strobe Light. I've really been enjoying this. This is just a mini size, by the way, and I don't have my normal MAC brush dry, so I'm going to use, this is the Sigma F03, and this is the high cheekbone highlighter brush, and I am going to dust this on the tops of my cheeks here. So we've got the glow from the bronzer. The blush is also a little bit glowy, so I don't feel like I need to go overboard with this highlighter. Just want enough to add a little more brightness there. And Cupid's bow here. And the reason for this, I don't think I've ever explained this. When you highlight the Cupid's bow, it makes your lip look a little bit fuller. So it just makes it look like it has been pulled up a little bit. So that's the reason. Then I'm going to go back with my bronzer brush that still has some of that blush on there. Just really kind of blend all of that together. And then I'm going to add just a tiny little bit more concealer right here. And I'm going to use the Revlon Candid in the shade Creme Brulee. I feel like I just need a little bit more coverage right there. And I don't want it any brighter. So I don't want to look like I've got these kind of, like I was wearing sunglasses out in the sun, you know? And then I'm just taking a little bit of this matte cream shade called Cream Light and just brushing it here from kind of the inner corner of my eye and just over part of that cheek there. I think it just kind of helps blend all the contour and bronzing and blushing and everything that we've been doing. Okay, so now it's time for brows. This is not exciting, so I'll just speed through this. I'm first gonna go in with my NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. You all have seen me use this many times, so I'm gonna speed through this part here. Just use it to kind of fill in my brows and add a little extra definition here. All right, so we've got the brow color on. I've been now testing out this Almay Brow Styler. This is about the third or fourth time I've used this. This is in the shade Light Brown. And I do like this. I was looking for a dupe for the Thrive Cosmetics brow lift that I really like, and this one does provide good amount of color and lift to the brows. I'm not sure about this shade, but we'll see. Need to give it a little more time, but I do feel like it gives a good hold to the brows. And I like that the brush is not goopy, so it seems pretty easy to control like how much product you're putting through your brows, so that's a good thing. For inner corner highlight, I'm just going back to the palette in a little bit of this shade right here, which is called Originator, and I'm using the Morphe M326 and just packing that kind of on the innermost part of the eye, and then I am going to drag this onto the lid overlap that gold just a little bit. Keep the inner part of the eye very nice and bright. Let's curl our lashes. All right, and for mascara, I have been testing out this new one from Milani. This is highly rated. This is a sample size. I did go out and buy the full size though. That's how much I've been enjoying it. It says it's smudge-free, flake-free, all that, and it's also supposed to help add curl. I obviously curl my lashes and I don't have a hard time with curl staying in my lashes, but if you do, you might enjoy this mascara. The brush is kind of one of those natural bristle brushes, and you're gonna see me use it with no primer. I've actually done this several times and I feel like it works very well all on its own. Adds nice volume and length. And I do, when I apply it to my lower lashes, I do go below it with a little bit of a tissue, just to kind of remove any excess before it dries. But if I do that, I don't have flakes and smudging. So that is pretty major for me. Before finishing off with my hair and lips, I'm going to go in with just a little more bronzer here on the back of my cheeks. For lips, I'm going to go around the edge with the L'Oreal Color Riche Matte Lip Liner in the shade Mastermind. I can never say that right the first time. And for lipstick, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Nude Gold lipstick. I love this, and most of all, it does not smell like the typical L'Oreal lipstick. I love that they took that scent out of here. All right, as a finishing touch, I'm just going to go over my face with the Milani Prep Set and Glow. And I just think this kind of helps all of the color on the face just kind of blend together and just gives you that all over healthy glow. And here's our finished look. So I enjoyed playing with a lot of these new products and some of my old favorites again. I have really been impressed by this palette. I think it's a great neutral palette, but yet there are a lot of looks that you can create with it. It's not overly warm, so for those of you who just despise those rusty orange shades, there are a lot of options I think still in this palette for you. And the foundation I'll continue to keep an eye on, and then just by adding that bronzer and the blush and then kind of that gold lip color, to me it makes me feel like I just spent the day at the beach. So hopefully for those of you who live in a place where it feels like winter lasts forever, hopefully you'll give this look a try, and maybe it'll at least make you feel and look like you spent the weekend at the beach, even if in reality you spent it cuddled up by the fire drinking hot cocoa. Thank you as always so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.